Welcome to our small-scale swine production pasture pork style presentation. I'm Tony Nye with OSU Extension in Clinton County. When we think about pasture pork, we need to consider raising your pigs. How do you want to do that? Remember, pasture pork, that's outside, so we have to put that into perspective. But when we look at pork production in general, do you want to make money? Are we going to add value to our feedstuffs? Are we utilizing free time? Are we going to be raising this food just for our home use, or are we going to actually be selling it to other consumers and other customers? What kind of physical resources do we have, and how can we utilize them? So our fields, some of our buildings, our water, our fence, those kinds of things. And then, are we wanting to raise pigs for preservation? We have genetics that are not always found in some situations, that are harder to come by. It also might be history. Our family may have been raising swine for a long time, and so we just want to keep that going through the family tree. So in the process of raising swine or pork, we want to make sure that we do plenty of research and understanding what we want to do. How are we going to raise the pigs? How are we going to market, things like that. We need to set goals. How many pigs are we going to try and sell? How many animals are we going to raise on the farm? And other goals that go along with a business plan. Do we have plenty of help? Remember, pasture pork or raising livestock in general is a 24/7 job. And so we have to be around all the time. So if we're not going to be around due to family vacations and other things such as maybe illnesses and just time away for other meetings and things, we got to make sure that we have plenty of help. No matter what we do in terms of farming, we always need to make sure that we have an exit strategy, understanding that we may not do this forever. And so how do we exit from an enterprise such as pasture pork? And no matter what, if we don't have fun doing it, it's going to be a challenge for us to do it on a day-to-day basis. So when we think about who our customer is, what do they want? And sometimes we often have to ask ourselves, what do we want when we're raising our pork or any livestock species? What is it going to take to raise it? How much feed are we going to need? What kind of genetics will fit best in our operation? What kind of facilities do I have or do I need to add to my property? Can I actually utilize pasture in this pasture process? And then who is going to process my pork? If I'm selling meat products to my customers, who are my processors? Are they inspected? What kind of inspections do they offer in terms of meat and food safety quality? And then how often will I be able to get my product in and out of the processors that are available to me? Raising pigs every day, as I said earlier, is a 24/7 job. We need to be around on weekends, holidays. We need to be able to not just go out and feed those pigs every day, but we need to look for issues. Do we need to fix and mend the fence? And keep in mind, fence and pigs or neighbors and flowers. So good fence is what makes for good neighbors sometimes. It's not always going to be easy out there. As we will talk later, there are lots of things that when we're in outdoor production, pasture style, it can be a challenge on certain days. It also takes income and it takes money to do this. So we want to make sure that we have adequate budgets and we have adequate cash flow to make this work on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-by-year basis. It can be messy. Lots of rain, those pastures can sometimes be muddy. We got manure to deal with, and we also may have animal death loss. And so it can be a messy, non-glamorous job, but it can also be a glamorous experience. So again, going back to my comment, have fun. Keys to success are going to be meeting our mating targets. So if we are operating a pasture pork system, We need to make sure there are certain months we don't want to have baby pigs born. We also want to make sure that we don't have pigs out on pasture in inclement weather when we've got extreme cold temperatures or lots of snow. And so meeting our mating targets for baby pigs is very important. So we're going to generally look at April, May, June to farrow. In a 2 farrowing system or 2 litter system, we're probably going to look at April and May, and then again September and October. Use feed efficiently. We want to make sure that we don't have a lot of waste, so managing our feeding systems is going to be critical. Optimizing health and genetics is also important as we look to day-to-day operations. A healthy pig is a happy pig is an efficient pig. And we can do our research and our homework by identifying genetics that best fit our management and our operating style. And then effectively manage costs. Again, having a budget, having a plan, a business plan will help us accomplish those kinds of things. Within our industry, we have what is called Symbol. This is a model pig for modern day pork production, and we can apply this to both confinement operations to pasture pork. We look for production characteristics that fit the model that we are raising pigs in. We look for carcass qualities and characteristics that are important to us as well as our consumers we may be selling our meat products to. That as well, we can also utilize this information in putting our plan together. We need to also consider not just the production side, but the processing and marketing. Are we going to sell pigs or are we going to sell meat? What kind of inspection requirements are necessary for us to sell meat products? How hard is it in your area to find a processor or a number of processors? This becomes a difficult situation from time to time, and due to COVID became even a bigger factor. So making sure that we have a plan, we spend plenty of time in communications with our processing companies so that we can produce a quality product to our consumers. Again, producing a quality product is important, and so we may want to also consider investigating with our customers and our consumers what they like, what maybe they don't like. We can add flavors, we can add different thicknesses of cuts, and we can package our product in different means. So identifying a quality final product that fits our consumer. Proper labeling and licensing is very, very important, and we have lots of resources that can help us in selling our packaged meats. Another opportunity one might consider when operating a pasture pork system is selling breeding stock to other producers. If we're considering getting into the business of pasture pork, we have to find those resources that sell to us breeding animals that we can incorporate into our own operation. This might be an alternative that we can consider as we get into our production cycles. This is a market where profit or loss is dependent upon your ability to sell to other breeders. So it's not going to be an everyday market out there. In a breeder's market, somebody is always the caboose. So keep that in mind, that we're not always going to be at the forefront of our market opportunity. So making sure that we diversify in our operation could be something that becomes important, that we're not only providing meat to our customers and consumers, but we may also be providing breeder animals to other people interested in getting into pork production. As always, do your research, set your goals, have a business plan, make sure you got plenty of help, have an exit strategy, and have fun to be successful. So as we think about strategies for success, the other piece that we need to consider are the profit drivers or the economics behind raising swine. No matter how we do it, whether it's in a pasture situation or more a commercial building situation, we need to think about what our profit drivers are. So as we talk about pasture situations, we think about the number of hours it takes to produce 100 pounds of pork. What are our operating costs to grow a pig 100 pounds, excluding labor? How well do they utilize feed to make growth in meat? So what's the feed efficiency of our animals? How many pigs do we wean per litter? What's the cost of our feed per ton? Do we have a 1-litter system or a 2-litter system? What's the cost per hundredweight for all animals marketed? So not only the market animals that we sell meat from, but our call animals, meaning the sows or boars that we use in the breeding herd. What are our fixed costs? And how does that apply to the cost of per hundredweight of feed or food that we grow in those pigs? What is the death loss? We talk about having to raise plenty of pigs to make this an efficient operation. If we look at the keys to success, one of the things that we need to do is focus on the feed. Feed is first. That is the highest cost of production that we have. Feed efficiency is very, very important. How well do our animals consume the forages and commercial feed into a product that we can sell either on the live market or to our customers? And then what is the price of the feed? And we know that that changes as our grain prices change. So following those costs on feed. What's the structure to fit and to make a living? How many animals do I need to market or raise per year to help me make a living on my farm? Are there marketing premiums that I can capture? Maybe we're growing Berkshire swine in our pasture pork, and there are added premiums because we may raise something like Berkshire breed. Keeping animals alive pre-weaning, so keeping our death loss down again, are keys to success. We want to raise as many pigs as we can that are born alive. So making sure that we have excellent mothers that have great mothering instincts. We provide adequate shelter for all times of year. We watch and make sure that we keep predators out. And we make sure that we keep healthy animals so that we don't have any disease or infections get into those baby pigs before they're weaned. What other costs do we have? We need to keep in mind this is an outdoor production system that must be able to maintain good quality living quarters for our animals. So we may need to provide lots of bedding during those wetter times of the year, or more bedding during those colder times of the year. Are we gonna need any utilities? Do we need electric? What other supplies do I need, especially for repairs? We may need to repair some of our buildings or huts that we use. We may need to fix fence. So we need to keep that in line with what we're doing. And then as well, the other key to success that goes along with our costs of production and economics is how many hours per pig do we spend out there? And our goal should be, in a pasture pork situation, about 1.3 hours per pig per season. When we keep all these things in mind, our keys to success for a great pasture pork experience will be critical and very achievable in our operation.